What's up, y'all? Rizzo's here again with yet another Naraka update to go over with you guys. This update's a rather small one, however it does include a couple of interesting changes to go over, so let's get straight into it. First up, we have a new in-game event coming in now that the Mid-Autumn event is over. This event's called the QoL Bonanza. Similar to other events we've had, players will need to find a number of tokens throughout the pre-game lobby. However, the reward for this event is based off of how well you place in the game itself. Players that make it to the top 30 in solos or the top 10 in trios will receive a premium reward, while other players will receive a common reward. Like other events, the contents of these rewards are likely to be varying amounts of Spectral Silk and Tay. For the duration of the QoL Bonanza, daily quest rewards will also be doubled, giving players a slightly easier time to level up and level their battle passes. Naraka will also be adding in a reputation system. This system is likely being added to combat players leaving early in both solos and trios and promote a more fair and less toxic game overall. You will lose reputation points if you leave the pre-game lobby in both solos and Bloodbath, as well as in trios if your team already has 3 players. You will also lose points if you leave a trios game before you and your teammates are completely dead and wiped out. This should prevent people from having to play trios games solo if they end up in the unfortunate situation where you have some bad or toxic teammate. You can raise your reputation simply by playing and completing games. Your reputation is viewable from your profile and is not able to be viewed by other players. You end up below a certain reputation point, you will no longer be able to queue up for the ranked mode, and if you fall even lower than that, you won't even be able to queue for quick match until you've raised the reputation. Now we have a newly added zone mechanic. Now added into the game is a shadow poison when inside the corruption after the 3rd circle closes completely. After this so-called poison builds up to a certain amount, players' healing will be reduced, similar to the debuff that players obtain inside the corruption after the 4th circle closes. This poison will deplete gradually after leaving and entering the circle. This is likely added to prevent players from just sitting too much time outside the circle and promote in-circle fighting. On the same note of a new in-game function, they've added special effects and sounds to when you get hit in the spirit form in trios, which is pretty interesting actually because I didn't even know you could get hit while in that spirit mode. However, I do play solos more than trios, so. Just like last patch, they've added more options and customization to the custom match lobbies. You can now adjust how fast the corruption spreads and how much damage it does in the battle royale mode. And for Bloodbath, you can now adjust the quality of weapon and armor used along with the match length. This will make custom 1v1s even more fun than before and give more players the ability to practice. We've also got a couple updates coming to the in-game store as well. For the new skins, we have a new legendary Viper skin called the Maple Snowfall, and we also have a new legendary Sphere skin called Sky Crusher. We're also rotating some of the skins that are currently discounted for gold, so get ready to break out your wallets, people. Next up, we have the changes to the heroes this patch. There aren't as many this time as there was last patch, and most of them are minor quality of life changes. For Tianhai, we simply have a change for trios so that players can see the difference between an allied and enemy Vajra. They now just look a bit different so you can tell who is who. For Tumulk, they've improved the visibility of Zephyr Prison's special effects and all of its variants, so it's just a bit more visible. On to Viper Ning. The changes to Viper Ning they've made are just making her ult a bit more clear. Currently, her ult hit effect is an AoE around each person that she is linked to by the eye, meaning that if you are right next to someone who is linked, you can get stunned or staggered even if you are not linked. This change is simply making the effect of this a bit more noticeable so that you don't randomly get stunned or hit by something you didn't even see. And as always, we also have a change coming for Yoto Hime. Currently after ulting, Yoto cannot gain any rage for about 10 seconds or so. This is being removed so that she can now immediately gain rage after ulting, allowing her to have her ult up even more often now. For base weapon changes, there's not much in this patch as well. They've improved the feeling of clashing overall for some weapons and are trying to improve the hit registration for charged attacks and parry combos of the greatsword, as they can be a bit hit or miss. The pistol is also being buffed to have increased move speed while firing and charging of shots. This makes me wonder how good the pistol will be now, as it says it's greatly increasing the move speed, which was probably the pistol's biggest flaw, as you were literally a sitting duck while needing to be relatively close range while using it. However, the pistol does do pretty good damage. If you are able to move around with it, I could see it being pretty strong. Onto the bulk of this patch's changes, which are Souljades. One of the biggest changes in my opinion to Naraka yet is this one coming to Focus Slide. allowing it to interrupt blue focus attacks. This makes Focus Slide an extremely strong Souljade with amazing outplay potential, as you can simply slide into someone who is spamming focus now and potentially change the momentum of the fight, and Focus Slide before this was already an extremely strong and underrated Souljade. There are also some incoming changes to a couple repeating crossbow Souljades. Sharp Shot now reduces the damage done slightly, but reduces all spread from the weapon, making the crossbow a legitimate laser beam. If you have good FPS aim, this thing may become a menace. They're also buffing Venom Tip, increasing the amount it can stack up to 15 times. This could make the crossbow extremely annoying if you have the right setup of Souljades. Onto the Katana. We have a buff to the Stamina Strike Souljade, increasing the healing done from 30% to 65%. This potentially makes Stamina Strike a very useful Souljade, as beforehand the healing done was very minor and not really worth the Souljade slot. However, the restoration amount now could make it very usable in combat. We also have a slight change to the Composure Souljade, granting you blue focus now while sheathing your weapon. This could also make Composure much more usable in combat now, as beforehand you never really had the time to just sit in one spot and sheath the katana all the way after doing a focus attack, because if you sat there you'd probably just get murdered. However, if you have the focus armor now, you may be able to afford to take a hit or two and heal, as it can't chain into a full knockup combo now like it would before. For Dagger Souljades, we have some buffs coming that could make the dagger even more terrifying than it already is, as Assassin's Lunge damage has been increased and can now launch 3 different stages of attack. They're also changing Abyssal Aura so that it can be continually used after catching the dagger. However, I don't know how much of this will actually change, because Abyssal Aura is sort of an underused Souljade to begin with. For the Spear, we have a slight change coming to the Scale Rush Souljade, allowing the combo to be used off of uncharged Scale Rushes and increasing the damage of it overall. When it comes to Greatsword Souljades, we have a buff coming to Infernal Slash. The healing reduction has been increased, and the Souljade now affects both stage 1 and stage 2 charge attacks rather than just stage 2 charge attacks. They've also increased the damage and range done by the Shockwave Souljade. However, I don't think this will change much, as most people don't do the 1-2 vertical combo of a Greatsword. Lastly, we have a change to one Longsword Souljade, Blue Moon. You can now continue clicking left or right click to continue throwing out energy attacks after the initial 1-2-3 combo. That's all we have when it comes to Souljade, so let's move on to a couple more quality of life changes again. Similar to other patches we've had, they're continuously working on matchmaking and optimizing so that players are matched against similar skill levels in a timely manner. Let's just hope that this doesn't screw over rating gains or queue times again, as that could be just as frustrating in my opinion as going against somebody else that's either too skilled or unskilled for your skill level. They've also made it a bit easier to mark stuff around without accidentally entering the emote wheel, and they're continuously trying to optimize controller gameplay. Lastly, I'll show a list of bug fixes coming this patch. The most important one in here is that they are yet again hoping to fix the issue where players would still get hit by longsword focus attacks when clashing. So that's just about everything included in the patch notes. We will need to see if anything else is stealth added, because they usually include a couple different things that the patch notes don't include. What do you guys think of the changes? I know this patch doesn't include anything major about what some of the player base is complaining about. However, I do think that bigger changes are to come closer to the season end or when the season ends, as it makes sense to do massive gameplay changes in between seasons unless it's absolutely game breaking. I recently started streaming a bit more often on Twitch, so if you'd like to see some live gameplay, drop me a follow over at twitch.tv/itsresist. And if you found this video useful or helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.